Welcome to Mailbag, the only Everton podcast not to make Farhad Moshiri's shortlist of 8. I am joined by MJ, KT, and KJR.
What?
Very nice.
Not good, but there we go. Before we get into the hot topics, I'm just going to go to a question from Laura, who simply asks, how is Keith feeling this morning?
I'm so rough you could shave a dead man with me.
Just for context, Keith, when I watched the Scotland game last night, and you started what time?
Well, I went out about 6. I actually started drinking about 3 when I was working from home. It was rum time, and yeah, things got out of hand.
See, that's the thing though, when the rum calls, you know,
yeah,
you don't get
the rum
gets you. So 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon is good.
What was town like, Keith? Was it mad or was it all right?
No, it was quite quiet, to be honest. Although we ended up in some 2 seconds, the dog's just drinking his water and he's being dead noisy about it. I'm trying to record it.
I wonder what that noise was.
Yeah, it's we ended up in some pop-up event on Parr Street in the car park. You know where Almost Famous is, over the road from there. And yeah, I don't know what that was all about. But
is that where you got the dubious looking stamp on your hand, mate?
Oh yeah, look at that.
Thought so. If you're watching YouTube, well, now you have to watch the YouTube video version to see this. Tramp, look at you with your tramp stamp.
I know. It's literally, I am just an absolute shambles of a man today. So,
did you watch it in Rigby's?
Watched it in Rigby's, yeah.
What was the sort of England-Scotland feeling? Were people vociferously supporting England, or
no? There was some
England
supporting types out the back in the courtyard. We were up in the back room, and there was like us and a big table of Irish lads. So
decent.
English supporting types. I like that.
Yeah. Well, there is definitely a type, isn't there? There is a type.
Apparently so.
The chainmail lads.
The chainmail lads. Yeah,
mate, I only tuned into your social media yesterday for the gratuitous tartan shots, and you didn't let me down. I'm very proud. Full kilt Merseyrail job at about 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Wonderful stuff. Right, let's get into the hot topics. Everton players at the ready. What would you put on a banner?
Kevin Kilban. Doff, forever. That's it.
I like that.
I was going to say always.
I feel like maybe you need to explain this.
Doff forever. It's hard to say.
Doff. Oh yeah. Let's just say Doff
for life.
Oh my God. I'm supposed to be like a geriatric millennial, as if I didn't even get that. It's Doff for life for me. That's it.
The old man in the room gets that.
Well, yeah.
Up your game, lad.
Yeah, that's it.
What story is it from?
I'm assuming this is something to do with the less than complimentary comments that have been made about Benitez, which have been hung on the Goodison Road.
Yes, that's the one.
Oh my God, I never get this right.
There you go.
Get in.
It's going to be a good weekend. The one thing that was missing was Benitez is a big fat wool, I think.
I just think it's absolutely unnecessary.
But did you see his tweet though from his Caldy mansion?
No.
In the Welsh Hills, and he put back in Liverpool.
Did he?
He's one of them.
Oh no.
No, sir. Not into that.
No.
No.
I'm still not sure that it warranted ruining a couple of probably really good quality bed sheets to have a crack at it. But
I hardly think they were Egyptian cotton worthy.
No, if you're going to do a bed sheet banner, you just get your worst one. Surely you don't.
Or even just nip down to Wilco's.
You don't rip the good ones off the bed and think, right, I'm gonna do it.
Unless someone's going through a messy breakup.
Dude.
You know.
Yeah.
Just the words messy and bed sheets in one sentence. No.
Well, that would explain the anger as well, Les, wouldn't it? To be fair.
It would. I mean, there was a lot of vitriol in that. So we're having Doff for life.
Doff for life. Let
I
him
like you
get
need to
on with it.
explain the Doff reference.
Oh, as in director of football. It ties in, Matt. One, because that's my unofficial title as part of our Blue Room group. I still don't even know how that came about, to be honest with you. But also, I think in the current situation, let him get on with it. And the consensus is, if you believe all the shit that you read, that it's not Benitez for brands. But I mean, who really knows other than what goes on, in that little clique? But yeah, just let him get on with it. So stop. I just think for Ken Rice, it's like going to Costco. He's just going up and down like a big thing of managers, just going. By the time you've added the VAT onto that one at the till, might not have enough for a pizza slice or a tray of donuts. So it's like just stop interfering and just let him do his job.
I mean, clearly none of us know anything.
Well, no, exactly.
But it does seem like the shine away from anyone who needs sort of buying out of the contract.
Yeah.
Any sort of compensation. It's a bit silly. The club have been stung loads by managers, largely because they've made shit decisions and put the wrong manager in charge and had to pay him out. So if they think someone's the right manager, money shouldn't really be that much of an object.
This whole thing's made me realise that there's probably about 15 good managers in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really fair shout, Matt.
Like,
do you know what they should do? They should just draw up a list of 8 and just pick the name off the hat.
Yeah.
No one's got a clue. Everyone's rubbish. Picking people in charge.
Keith, do you want to contribute to the serious football chat, mate?
Nah.
What would you put on a banner then, Keith?
To be fair, I'm a big fan of. Do you remember from was it the Euros in 2016 when Ireland qualified, and the Irish fans took a load of flags over with Father Ted quotes on it?
Yeah,
I'm into that vibe massively. There was one that said, "Is there anything to be said for saying another mass?" Which I just thought was great. And what was it? Yeah, here we are now, all the lads. Just lovely.
I love the one off the tweet that just says "careful now." It's just like they should be everywhere. Down with this sort of thing.
Down with this sort of thing would be very apt for us on it as well.
Yeah, I reckon maybe we should do that next season when Benitez loses his 3rd game on the spin, 6-0 against the Shite.
Oh.
And it down with this sort of thing.
Yeah, down with this such the picture of Benitez on it. Yeah.
We could be like our version of Rafa and the Cardinals.
Oh God. Yeah. But just everyone dressed up as Father Ted characters with that banner.
Just all with the collar on, all with the dog collar on.
Oh my God.
Into that. Matt, what are you sticking on a banner then?
I think I'd go for that one that was at the Trump protest a few years ago that said our expectations were low, but holy fuck.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Or do you remember I can't remember, I think it was like a team in Norway or something when the team had scored a goal for like 5 or 6 games. It was even longer than that. It was like 10 home games or something, and they all just brought big arrows pointing at the goal just to remind the players where it was. But yeah, I think our expectations were low, but holy fuck. No one's asked about the Archibald League. Just get that banner across the partition between the lower guard and the upper guard, and I think that's pretty much where we are.
Is it time to just embrace that we're going to be perpetually shit? Should we just get on with it? Just accept that we're going to be probably mid-table at best. Anything else is a massive bonus. Forget nil satis nisi optimum and all that. Let's just accept that we're terminally shit and have a laugh. It would probably be a much easier existence,
I think the thing about that is that we're not like terminally shit. We're just average and boring.
Yeah.
Like there's no peril really when it comes to us, is it? There's never like any like feeling.
Very rarely.
This is going to go really terribly wrong, and like you feel like you've got out of something at the end of the season. Like we haven't been in proper relegation danger since probably the Coventry game, wasn't it? Really, I'm not saying I want that, but
it would be
things off of it.
It would be interesting, right? Because everyone's got this is veering into soccer chat, isn't it already? But the way it's sort of when we were in those relegation scraps in the 90s, it was a very much a siege mentality. And everyone sort of got behind the team, regardless of how bad they were. I wonder if it'd be the same now. Because it seems like football's changed a lot. Fans seem to have changed quite a bit. Would everyone be behind the team like that, do you reckon? Or would it just be horrible? Just like end of Martinez, horrible. Looking at each other.
I think it'd be horrible.
Horrible. definitely horrible.
I'd quite enjoy it as well.
Yeah, it is very much the stance that some people just want to watch the world burn, don't they? I just want to watch Everton Twitter react to Everton.
Yeah, being relegated.
It would just, can you imagine?
Would you take a season in the Championship if it was guaranteed you'd get up the season after?
I'm more concerned about, does that mean we lose Bramley more?
No, that's fine.
No, it just end up like 4 Park Ends. Oh,
oh my God, imagine if Goodison was 4 Park Ends. Fucking hell.
There'd be nobody there past fucking 73 minutes.
We'd definitely go down then.
Amazing. Right, we'll move on. Players ready. Whose WhatsApp messages would you want to see?
Jordan Pickford.
Ooh, I think that was just in there.
This is about
shout, though.
This is about all the Tories turning on each other and screenshotting the WhatsApp messages.
Yeah, that's the one.
Which I've not really found that,
something that illuminating,
as expected. Yeah, stuff that we already know, really. So,
yeah, and people making loads of Boris Johnson seemingly not having a clue and going, "Oh my God, what should we do?" It's like, well, that was all, never had a clue, was he?
The ones I'm sorry to keep this on Everton football, but I want to see what Guillaume Balaguer and Rafa Benitez have been texting each other the last few days. My word, has that fella gone into bat for Benitez over the past couple of days? I mean, like Kate said, I've not got an issue with people putting banners. Maybe don't put some of the language on there, fair enough. But I've not got issues with people putting banners outside Goodison, that's fine. But, Balaguer's basically gone through Benitez's last 11 years since he left Liverpool and gone, this is why absolutely none of the things that were bad happened were his fault for any reason. It's like, bloody hell. So it's good to have a mate like that. But imagine what those WhatsApp messages are like. Just tell us what happened at Inter, why you took over one of the best teams in European football in this generation and it all went tits up. Tell us about why you couldn't make some of these really good players at Napoli work. Tell us why a team of Real Madrid with Bale, Benzema, Rodriguez and Ronaldo, that didn't work out either, mate. Fucking hell.
Yeah. I think
he's been a bit shit for a bit. It's fine.
A big question for me as well is, it's always baffled me. How on earth did you not finish against that Everton team in 2005?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, yeah, you won the Champions League. So how did you finish 5th?
Yeah. So someone put the other day, won 2 finals on a coin toss with the Reds.
That's how they always win finals, though, isn't it? Always. Yeah, I will be interested to see that. I'd like to see who kicked it off as well. Whether Graham Blagg went to Rafa or the other way around.
Graham Blagg.
Like to see that. Kate?
Who's the fella this week, and we don't have to name names as such, but who's the fella this week who gave it the big I am, talking about he's from Scotty Road and all this that kicked off?
Oh, it's Scotty, Kate. It's just Scotty. Fucking hell.
You can tell you're not a real Scouser. Real Scousers just call it Scotty.
I would love to see if any of his actual mates have actually WhatsApped him and just gone, mate, what the fuck happened there? At what point did you think this was a good idea? And I would love to think if he's got good enough mates who've actually said, probably wasn't your greatest moment on Twitter, was it really? Which it actually has turned out to be, but for the wrong reasons.
That was brilliant.
It's just odd.
I've said, there's a fella having a breakdown, but I don't know if it is because he just does it all the time, doesn't he? I think that's...
He needs help. Someone in his family needs to just say to him, look, stop getting bladdered, going on Twitter at 3 o'clock in the morning and trying to offer straighteners.
And being really articulate. Despite it being stupid o'clock, I'm probably being pissed. It's like it's too believable. Got to throw a few a few typos and stuff in there, surely.
Like some of Keith's messages last night.
One of the best responses I saw to the Dominic Cummings tweets was a girl who I know through Twitter who's local. You might have seen her. I can't for the life of me remember a freaking name now, but she tweeted, if you ever want to know what it's like to date a fella, just look at Dominic Cummings' tweets where he's just done a massive big paragraph and Boris Johnson just replied with, okay, Brill. Because that is literally the truth. And do you know what's funny about it? Dominic Cummings liked it. So I was like, lad. And then I remember 2 years and I was like, no.
I didn't see those all those messages in the format. But you know what you say there about the big long messages? I would happily rather take that than somebody who sends a different message for each sentence they type. Is that UK? Do you
I'm
one of
a
them
prolific
people?
texter, and it does. Everybody I know, it does the reading. That's me.
And
because a text does, I think.
Like Chelsea does that. Like you can get like get me on my phone. I've got like 5 WhatsApp messages, and like it wouldn't have even taken like half the screen up. Just put them in one message. No need for it.
Strange, isn't it? Is it a girl thing then?
It's just like snappy. Too many browser windows open. Just got to like get it out in bits, and then I'm all right then. If you get a long paragraph of me, shit is going down. That's it. Game over.
Thing is, the short, punchy messages. That's how girls tend to argue as well, isn't it? Like one point, then another point, and another thing.
I'll take that.
That's also how Rafa Benitez argues as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
When he's talking about facts.
Here are the
I'm
facts.
just saying, okay, Brill to everything now. Okay, Brill.
Do you know who the best at that though? I don't think I'm quite guilty of it yet, but it will be at some point. Dads, you get a text message back off your dad. It's always just okay. Nothing else.
Yeah. There was a brilliant one recently. It was a young girl who texted dad and just said, oh, thanks so much. I can't believe I got the job. Thanks so much for all your help. And he texts back, all right, calm down. You didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize. Like, oh my God. And then the greatest one of all time was just like it says dad, and like, have you picked those assholes up yet? And then it goes, oh, sorry, wrong person. And the girl's like, hang on, did you mean me? She's the asshole.
Oh, the missent text message. That's a whole other for a whole other day. Keith,
I'd like to see Mashiri's WhatsApps because I'd love an insight into how his brain works. Reckon it's absolutely scatty.
Yeah,
sounds like my kind of guy.
Line at a time, won't he?
Yeah.
How many WhatsApp groups do you reckon he's in with Jim White?
Oh God!
They keep starting up with various members of Talk Sport who just keep leaving. They just keep new groups. So there's loads.
I'm always intrigued about I think we spoke about this, Kate, before we did one of the women on the ball. I'm always so intrigued about footy players in the WhatsApp groups. Like, what happens when they leave?
Yeah.
Or go out on loan? Do they just get mercilessly binned from the WhatsApp group?
I think there's like there's got to be like a kind of like end. So it's probably a paragraph. It's not going to be okay, bro.
Yeah, it's not a load of punchy messages. It's just,
I think
it's a well
there's like
thought out.
oh, listen, lads, it's been amazing. Love me time. Hope to keep in touch. Like when you meet mates on holiday, or girls in any toilets, basically on a night out in town. And I think they kind of draw a line under it. But I think, and I don't know for sure, but I think once the player's done that, then it's like off you go.
What if the player doesn't leave? And it gets to about like 6 weeks after he's left, and he's still not left the group. Do you reckon the admins are like,
yeah, they'll get bumped?
Should we kick him because he's not going to leave, is he?
Yeah, they must do. Yeah, because there's far too much goes on in those WhatsApp groups on a day-to-day basis.
They've definitely got side chats, haven't they?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
Dom and Tom have definitely got a side chat.
100%.
Speed dial.
Got the Grot account at Everton then.
The Grot account.
The WhatsApp Grot account.
Who sends all those forwarded many times videos?
But I reckon Big Sam started them.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Difficult one.
That's not Grot. This is Grot.
Gonna throw an out of the road shout in for that. I reckon Bernard.
Nice.
I reckon he's the peddler of filth.
So he's a little deviant.
Yeah.
I mean, it would explain why he's still there, I suppose.
Little deviant makes it sound worse as well, Matt. Little deviant.
Little deviant.
I reckon Michael Keane might slightly be the forwarder of filth.
The forwarder of filth.
I reckon he's a bit like in a similar way to like Gareth Barry robbed a taxi and went on a joyride that time. I think Michael Keane's got a bit of that in him, lurking deep down in his soul.
Yeah, he's got that pristine veneer.
One day he's just going to get sick of speaking in such a media-trained way, and he's just going to lose the plot. Or maybe that's where he gets his relief. He sends all those mad messages in the WhatsApp group.
Pickford for me. Lad from the northeast, isn't he?
Pickford.
Loves a few jars.
I think that's a great shout, to be fair.
Pickford sends the really terrible stuff that no one wants to see.
Yeah, it's like, mate.
Yeah,
but like, still have a
getting
look.
decapitated and everything he
send
sends.
Puts NSFW before every message he sends.
Oh, that's
the soft guy puts NSNO.
NSNO.
Just on this, Patrick Myers said Mashiri and Jim White initially to see if he spells good evening, Jim.
7 O's.
Yeah. Also see the Wamney chat. And Neil said, we got Ian Ross's emails. That was more than enough to almost implode the club. Christ knows what would happen if we got hold of any of their WhatsApps now. So I looked that up before. Do you remember that with Ian Ross and the leaked emails? That was 2011. Did
it get leaked on Blue Kipper, was it?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But among the emails, described Everton as akin to working in a kindergarten and referred to a financial meltdown. Allegedly suggestions from Ross, the chief executive, Robert Elston, was unfit to lead and heading for a breakdown. It was a happy place back then, and it's a happy place now.
Lovely to see so much has changed.
Yeah, see?
10 years later.
Sound, you know? Oh, just back to the, what was put on a banner. Phil said, simple, nil status nisi optimum. We as Everton fans must live by this as representatives of the club. Banners we are seeing do not reflect our culture.
I think the one I suggested does reflect our culture quite
Definitely
well.
Does. Yeah. So, yeah, let's get that set up for next season.
I'll bring my own arrow.
The thing is, we're all in different parts of the ground, so the players.
Yeah, they may as well just be off.
Arrows out now.
Yeah.